because there used to be a football ground and a cricket ground together. I've seen Geoffrey Boycott actually hammering that ball after tea. It's the only cricket match I've ever been to see in my life. I think my dad said that he once refereed a match there. It was actually I think it was a Sunday League competition, and I think he said there was 5,000 there, and it was just two like non-league clubs from a Sunday. And my dad said I think there was one bigger crowd when they were in the FA Cup once, but it quite shocked him when he walked out before kick-off and there's 5,000 people in that ground. But football, Sunday League football used to be really big in Worksop. They had a really good quality league. They didn't have all this coaching they have nowadays, because I think the coaching's killed the game. I think there's far less skill nowadays, and it's how do you blunt your opponent? How do you stop him playing rather than having your natural flair? Like your George Best, Rodney Marshes and people like that. So that's beautiful Barclays Bank. So we're on the bottom half now. That's the top half of Worksop at the crossroads, Queen's Head, and then you come on the bottom half and there's a lot more shops on the bottom half, but it's a lot more modernised than the top half. It's much nicer filming these places when it's nice and quiet. Gives you a better idea. We've got Greg's here. And what I did notice again, you can see the Burton's architecture. Burton's Corner. Must have had a snooker room or dance hall above it at some stage. Brighton Road down here. There used to be a toy shop down here. I can't remember the name of the toy shop, but that was like every town had a nice toy shop. Got the Priory shopping centre behind it, which is all locked off at night. Still got an Halifax bank, so it's had a lot of banks in the past, Worksop, and it seems to be holding on to its banks. It's probably the middle of the market town, about 40,000, 50,000. But it's certainly accelerated in growth, because all around the outskirts of Worksop they're building on the countryside, putting up green belt. The problem is, like I said, to start with, I remember this being at least two roads coming down, but I think you went down and up at one bit, then it went to two roads coming down and going up on a bypass around the outside. Then they started pedestrianising it, and I think that's when the shops started to disappear, because I remember Curry's being on here at one bit on the high street, and then it moved to an outside shopping centre. So we got B&M there, and that was Woolworths at one bit, and I think that might have been 2 stories Woolworth at one bit. We had a Marks and Spencer's here at one bit, and I'm not sure if it was just there. We also had a Marks and Spencer's food in the Priory. It was doing really well, and they shut that one down. And I think that one's out towards Blythe now. So this was WH Smith. That shut down during a flood. It's never reopened. So there's your Priory shopping centre, all shut off at night. The canal runs down the back of there. Where you can see Boys, that was Argos. That's moved into Sainsbury's. It's took a lot of trade away from Worksop. So just here was the bridge skills hub. Well, this has all been renovated during lockdown. Like I say, if we had a serious virus, why was so much time spent on new buildings? It's just as though there was a big plan. Just here we've got Waddington's. There was another Waddington's out at Retford. Trouble, I used to shop at Waddington's. It was a bit overpriced, but it was worth it for the quality. But as far as I'm concerned, it's very pricey now, and I don't reckon much to the stuff they've got in anymore. I'm trying to show you a different angle on it there. But there's no, whenever you go past the shop, I never see anybody in it. And they must survive on weddings, hiring out troops, etc. So this is another building. I'm not really sure what this building was in the past. So this is last night. I went down Church Walk, which was down there, took us down to the gas officers and also Fisherman's Arms, that was it. So I can't remember what this was, but it looks pretty exclusive, this building. No expense spared on the architecture. So we're now on to the canal. See you there. Just going to show you the other side on the wharf side. Waterfront pub next to it. Can remember at one bit when the canal only came as far as Worksop, and then about 2000 they stretched it out to Kiverton. We're getting it from Kiverton through Killamarsh down to Chesterfield. It's a bit more problematic. A lot of it's done on the Chesterfield end, but they've got to get from Kiverton to, I think, Staveley, and I think that's going to be a bit more problematic whether they take that through Rother Valley. But to me it's fantastic for tourism if you can get the canal running through, and they were also talking about, I think, joining it up to the South Yorkshire Navigational Canal as well. So there's the Lockside pub. That was a DIY store in my youth. Behind it you've got the Golden Ball pub. The Golden Ball had a terrific Sunday league team. My dad was a referee, did all the Saturdays, Sunday matches, even works up Floodlit, and he used to be on a team with Neil Warnock as well. So I remember going to Worksop Sports Centre for that. So I've got some interesting buildings to show you up here. I'm just going to see how I can get across this junction. So we've got, it says Worksop Furniture. I'm absolutely sure that was probably where the original Savoy cinema was. And then this looks like it was a, no, it couldn't have been a cinema, that. But that's definitely, must have been where the original Savoy was. Goes back. Just want to show you a few buildings around here before I go up Carlton Road. But this like used to be one of the main car parks for Worksop. It's looking a bit dodgy. I don't know what's going off on there. But this area became like a country within a country at one bit, Eastern European shops. And since Brexit, I think a lot of these shops have closed down now. So I just want to show you one building up here because I love the architecture on it. I've done a photograph of it, but I just don't think the photographs show the building. So this says it's built in 1905. You just can't believe the amount of time and effort they used to spend in a building. And like I keep going on about, when you go to Sheffield or even Rotherham, they erect the most awful buildings now. So that's 1905. Look at the design on it. Well, it just gives you an idea. This became a country within a country. I didn't particularly like coming up here at one bit. I felt intimidated myself at times, people hanging around. So a church up there. Now I really want to get up Carlton Road because that's the road with the most interest, I think. Worksop railway stations up Carlton Road, and that's what I really want to show you. The link to the Welbeck Hall, and Welbeck Hall's still a private hall. They've survived on farming and also on the military being based there, and they were based there for quite some time. So we've got another pub on the corner here. I don't know if this pub's open or not. It looks like it because there's a light on. I'm trying to find it. It must be called... I'm trying to look at what the name of the pub is. It's not very clear what the name of the pub is anymore. I can't remember myself. I'm sure I've been in it in the past. Unless it's called the Rewind, but I don't know. I prefer socialising outside. I'm not one of these people for drinking at home at all, but I can understand people not wanting to spend 3 or 4 quid, 5 quid a pint. I'll just show you back into Worksop there. You do get an odd, what I consider a decent shop, art type shop there. Got the Vine pub there. See, it's that same sort of standard pub in Worksop. That's still open by the looks of it. This is a bit embarrassing now. I forgot the name of this cinema. I think it was the Regal, if I remember it rightly now. So, one bit it was one large cinema, then they changed it into 2 smaller cinemas, and I think I went in the last performance that they ever had there, and it was just 2 screens. I think one was like a stage for shows and then the other was showing films. I remember watching my first James Bond, Live and Let Die there, and in those days the films used to wrap around, so you come in part way through a film, watch it through, and then watch the start of it again. And I think I came in Live and Let Die where he was going over the top of the actual crocodile, so those sorts of memories stick. That was the car park for it. Real shame, because at one bit they're actually going to renovate this place a few years, probably about 10 years ago, and then it all fell through. And look at it now, it's in the right state. Really sad. Now, if I'm correct about this, I think this is where, yeah, Frog and Nightgown. So if he was around in the 80s, you'll know what I mean. Sorry, if he was out and actually drinking in the 80s, the Frog. We used to go downstairs in there. There was upstairs and downstairs, Frog and Nightgown. I'll just show. Absolutely fantastic in there, atmosphere. New Romantic Days. Human League. So we've now got council offices here, but they're not anymore. It's like a courtyard with various different businesses in, craft centres and various things. But look, I mean, just look at the splendid stuff on it. I mean, to say it was council officers, where does the money come from for building something like that? How could they have justified it in those days? And nowadays they build absolute garbage, but they could justify spending money on it, and in real terms the cost of the services are a lot cheaper as well. So we're nearly at the end of my video, because I'm trying to just get the main part of Worksop town centre in. But if you remember the video from Rotherham, you can see the difference. Wow, Worksop seems a much bigger town centre than Rotherham, whereas Rotherham's got a population of 120,000 and Worksop's got a population of 40,000, so some of them add up, does it? But they've got some beautiful houses in Worksop, these sorts of houses. And I went in, met somebody once, and we went out for a drink, and went to his house to meet him. Somebody I knew from the local regeneration trust, and the house inside was beautiful, but then somebody walked through it to go upstairs, so he must have had tenants in different rooms. Not my cup of tea, that. I like my own life and my own compartments, but the house was beautiful. But everything you've seen today is the real Worksop in red brick, not the cheap and nasty stuff you find in the countryside on the outskirts. So we've got Sherwood Road, that takes you to George Street, some beautiful houses down there, spiritual churches down there. So we've got another pub here, the Station Hotel. Sure, this has got some history to it, and I'm sure it would have had coach and horses coming in here where you can see the actual entranceway. I was looking for a date on it, but I'm not seeing one. It's a Station Hotel. What I want to show you is the actual station itself, and I think the guy from Welbeck Hall, he was quite a character. He liked to build tunnels actually under the estate, had his own waiting room. But if you've ever been to Welbeck Hall, I've seen it from the outskirts, you get an idea. It looks very much like the same sort of brick and building. I'm just going to see if I can get a better angle on it. As you can see, most of Worksop is probably Victorian-ish. And we've even got Welbeck Street down there. Probably the connection with this being the station for Welbeck Hall, or for the guy who built it. But you can see beautiful chimneys on it. But if you go on to the actual get round to the edge of Welbeck Estate, you'll find some cottages, and in between the cottages is actually an entranceway, and that is actually a tunnel that comes from the main house, and it actually goes under the ground. So he got these riddled across the estate for him getting his coach and horses in. There's actually a ballroom underground as well, and I'm told that was probably ruined by the military being there using it as a gymnasium. Absolute sacrilege. But I'd love to get around Welbeck Hall. It's one of those exclusive things. I think you have to be in some sort of history society and be lucky that there's an open day there, because I do think it's very rare to let people around it. So that's it. That's a quick tour of Worksop. If you've got any questions, or if you want me to embroider on anything that I've put on the video, do anything more on it, please give me a shout, because it gives me inspiration for new videos. Speak to you later.